Climb. The whisper woke Grease like the warm body of a lover sliding into bed beside him. Cass, he thought, and reached for her under the blanket. A car horn blasted in the early dawn, accompanied by the nearby clink and rattle of recyclables and the rustle of plastic garbage bags. Grease blinked, and Cass was gone. He groped for her with rough hands, the memory of clean sheets dissolving as the black crescents of his fingernails skated across the cardboard beneath him. With a great deal of scuffling, Grease forced himself upright, and he felt the press of cold brick at his back. He wiped the crust of sleep from his eyes, the blurred features of the alleyway resolving into depressing detail. Dumpsters, their plastic lids thrown wide, broken bottles and reeking piles of excrement, the dark, unmoving lumps of the slumbering homeless with their blankets drawn tight against the wet chill of dawn in San Francisco. Grease pulled the damp tatters of his own blanket closer. The coarse fabric scratched his nose, causing an eruption of sneezes that racked his aching bones and startled a stray cat from an overturned garbage can. The cat fled, and someone in the alley cursed. Climb. It was louder this time. Grease stood, looking around him to find that others were stirring from sleep. Their bleary eyes searched their surroundings, their brows knitted in mingled expressions of surprise and confusion. Grease turned to the street and saw people walking past the alleyway. There were always people walking in the city, regardless of the time of day, but these people were different somehow. Wrong. Frowning, Grease abandoned his pack on the cardboard mat. He stumbled to the alleyway's entrance on feet numbed with cold, ignoring the pins and needles in his extremities as circulation resumed its reluctant flow. A woman rushed past, her neck craned skyward, pink plastic curlers bouncing in her hair. She wore a silk robe and slippers, and it came to him then. Grease stared at the people on the street in disbelief, realizing that most were still clothed in sleep attire or were carrying souvenirs from their morning routines. A man dressed in boxer shorts and socks shuffled around a fire hydrant, his middle-aged paunch protruding from his untied bathrobe. The man's arms hung limp at his sides, the handle of an empty coffee mug gripped in one fist. An old woman splashed barefoot through a puddle without taking notice. She wore a t-shirt that hung to her knees, and the green handle of a toothbrush jutted from between her teeth. Toothpaste foam rimmed her mouth like white parentheses. There were children, too, dressed in nightgowns and brightly colored pajamas. They trailed behind their parents without complaint, glassy eyes fixed on some distant point above them. Those too young to walk were carried, though the adults hefted toddlers and infants with the dutiful detachment of mail carriers delivering packages. His pack and cardboard mat forgotten, Grease joined the growing throng on the street. He felt a nagging sense of unease, although it was difficult to focus with the whispered imperative clouding his mind. Climb, Grease, climb. It was not until several minutes later when Grease turned the corner that he realized what was bothering him. Every man, woman, and child on the streets of San Francisco was moving in the same direction. Traffic within the city had stopped, and vehicles that remained on the road had been abandoned, many with their headlights still shining, their doors left ajar and keys dangling from their ignitions. Streams of people had flooded the streets, some still trickling from the doorways of their apartment buildings, coalescing into a river on the US 101, a procession flowing towards the bay with an unspoken purpose. Climb. The Golden Gate Bridge stretched across the bay, international orange metal shrouded in fog. As those at the head of the procession set foot on the bridge, Grease watched the fog at the bridge's center begin to churn. He continued on, caught up in the river of upturned faces.
To keep listening to this audiobook, I've left you a link in the description so you can do it, at no cost thanks to Audible's 30-day free trial.